Thank you. Um, so I decided that I would not get philosophical about success. So what is success? Success personally, success in work, success in some hobby you have. And then I wondered, okay, can you really tease them all apart? Can you really separate them all? And really, if you're successful, can you be successful personally in your personal life and still be successful or not at work and vice versa? So I'm going to contain this really to the workplace, since this is really what we're here to talk about. And yet, when I decided finally to do it like that, I realized that at a high level, when I looked at the umbrella of what are the characteristics that will set you up and position you for success, they truly are the characteristics of who you should be as a human being. And it was great following Linda, because you really, and all the panelists, you set up the intro, which is wonderful. And so I started writing down the words that resonated with me, and hopefully will resonate with you, about how do you position yourself for success. And this is something that has been all through the discussions here on the panel. And one is, you have to have integrity. And this, like sort of the sister of integrity is authenticity. But you really have to have integrity in what you do, in what you say, and when you say something and you do something, and you talk at a meeting or you write a report. Is it true? Did you really do your homework? And do you have integrity in backing what you say, and backing or supporting somebody if they're being maligned about something? And it's all, I don't need to define integrity for you, although I probably should have looked up all these words, it would have been a lot easier. So I would say that the integrity is so important. When you have integrity, you immediately start building trust. People will trust you. They'll trust what you have to say, because after all, you have integrity. And when people trust what you have to say, then you start leading in a way where, even if you don't have the people reporting to you, you're leading from the side. And you're leading through influence, and you're leading through just because you said it. And this takes some time. And so that is, I would say, the cornerstone to success, no matter what part of your life we're talking about, no matter what we're referring to. Sort of partnering with that is being courageous, and you also heard that here at the table. You've got to be courageous. You've got to be courageous, even if you are so afraid to speak up. And I can remember being in school when I was like 14 years old. I was so afraid to speak up. I would stand in front of the class to do my report, and I would start crying. And the teacher would dismiss me, so disgusted that I couldn't compose myself. That's how scared I was to just speak up. I was at Latin school in Boston. So I've come a ways since then. But when you think about when you're really, really being courageous, think about what you can do to help you to be courageous. Is it writing down the first sentence of your talk you're going to give? Is it memorizing the 5 points? Is it what is it that's going to make you feel comfortable? What is it? Really boil down to a point. What was it about some report or something that's taking place that you need to speak up about, and be really crisp and clear about it, and know that it's right? And then you go forward with that. So that is really being courageous and really being willing to speak up. We heard about passion. Passion is so important. And also, it's about sharing the wealth. You don't get rid of the word I in your vocabulary. It's we. Even if you did it, and I have a recent example of this. I'm leading a major innovation forum for my company. We're a flavor and fragrance company. And there'll be global leaders all over the country coming to it who work at my company. It'll be about 120 people. And I have to be on there, pulling together the program, and I'm not doing it by myself, but I've got to understand what needs to be in it, how much time, what's the angle, what's the deliverable, how do we engage presidents and vice presidents? And that's a scary, daunting thought in itself. And so I am partnering with somebody in HR who's brand new with the company, comes with a lot of good experience in the insurance industry, nothing in my industry. And so I've been really carrying things, really carrying it, and he's been contributing things that I'm not able to. And then one week, I had so much stuff going on. I just wasn't ready for the next review. I just wasn't. I didn't tell him I wasn't, and I didn't have to. He pulled up, he delivered, and he actually put together the slides, and it was we. And I realized it was because all those times that I was doing it, it was we. Our president and vice presidents had no idea I was doing all that work, because I really was, I knew he was there with me, he just didn't know sort of like the ropes and all that. And when I needed it, without even asking him, he just did it. And so it's so important that there's the authenticity that comes through. Clearly, there was trust there, and I have found that when I'm in meetings and I hear I, you see some of the eye rolls sometimes, maybe you won't see it, but just really think of sharing the wealth. We talked about risk here. I think that the cousin to risk is insight. How do you know what you're even looking at? I mean, follow your gut, follow your instinctive thoughts on whether or not you should even be going for something. So I'll talk about something very early in my career. When I mentioned earlier a few hours ago about how sometimes you're taking a risk, you don't even know that you're taking a risk. You're responding to one thing, you're doing something, you say, no, this just kind of seems right. You don't know the world that's going to open. So the way it happened for me was I came back from New York. I knew I wanted to be back in Boston. I knew I wanted to get my master's degree. I didn't know exactly how. I knew I wanted one of them to be an MBA. In any case, I also thought I was a real hotshot marketing person. After all, I invented Astro Paste when I was in school for one of my marketing theses. And Colgate actually came out I was going to school in Springfield, and they came out with a test market of it. It didn't work well. Well, because they didn't have my plan. But anyway, I was doing, I called them up and I told them, I've got a great idea. I was like 20 years old, and I have this thing called Astro Paste. I got the model and everything. Anyway, so after all, I can do that. So I want to come back and have a marketing job. So I was interviewing at agencies. They didn't really have the kind of headhunters the way they have them now. In any case, one got back to me and said, we have a temporary job. Would you be willing to do it? I said, okay, sure. Right, I'll do anything marketing. And they said, well, it's to go to BU, and it's to stuff envelopes in the College of Engineering. I said, what? And anyway, so I hung up, thinking, that's what they think I can do, stuff envelopes? I have a degree in marketing. Anyway, so I called my dad up. I said, Dad, I can't believe that this is what they're offering me. And he said, so you're going to take it, right? I said, no. I'm stuffing envelopes. I could do that, not even graduating high school. And he said, well, Arleen, you stuff the envelopes, you don't know what it might lead to. I said, what is stuffing envelopes going to? Anyway, I called the person back and I said, I'll do it. Will you stay the week? Because the last person just left after one day. I said, sure, I'll stay. I promise I will. How many envelopes do I have to stuff? It was something like thousands. Anyway, so I went. I didn't even know where I was going. It was the College of Engineering at BU. I went in there. They said, there are your envelopes. Just sit in that corner and start stuffing them. So I did. But I noticed there were these students coming in. It was the time for registration. And they couldn't speak English very well. They didn't know what they wanted. And I remembered that advisor my freshman year who told me, don't go for Latin, right? So I thought, these kids need help. They're babes in the woods. So I started helping them. I ultimately, within a couple of weeks, I took over the registration. I reorganized how they did things. I got the envelope stuffed. I worked there for months. Word of me got through the dean, and I ultimately ended up going to the school. And I said that to the professor, Professor Ebner, who has since passed on. He said, I'm giving you a scholarship. You have got, like you and Linda, and what all of us have these experiences. He saw in me an engineer. I said, but I'm a marketing person. He said, no, I see an engineer. Okay, so I took 11 undergraduate engineering courses and got my master's in manufacturing engineering, did get my MBA, and then went on to a very long career at Gillette. Lesson here is, what if I didn't answer that stuff in the envelope? What if I didn't do that? wasn't even taking a risk. It was just doing something that was different than what I was doing, different than what I thought I should be doing. So it's really, and boy, that was such a lesson to myself, and I talked with my daughter a lot about this. You know, you just don't know, just you show up, you make connections with people. You don't know. We're all here. You've made connections with each other. Everything is an opportunity, but if you don't view it as, oh, I'm going to be opportunistic about it, because then you're not being, you know, authentic, and people don't want to be around people like that. But you just seize every opportunity, and you are, if you're willing to not think, sort of like, I'm so great, I can't possibly do that, and be arrogant about it, you don't know what you can open up. You'll open up a lot. Now, one thing I do want to jump to is, so that's sort of like, if you follow these kinds of things, plus everything that my esteemed panelists have been talking about, this really spills over to all aspects of your life, not just work. I will tell you, I do have 5 things I do whenever I start a new job. New job, new project, same thing with this particular project. I'm running this innovation forum. And I had 4, and then I added a 5th one. So it's give them what they want. If you've been hired to do X, give them X. Even though you know you're such a genius, you can do it better. You know really how it should be geared on. You know really what else you should add to it, and so on. Give them what they want, because they're not going to listen to all your great ideas about how else and how much grander or whatever it should be until you build trust with them, right? So that's my other thing, is to build trust. And how do you build trust? By being all those other things I was talking about. Deliver results early. Give them the results so that they say, oh, she delivers. Give them results early so that when you go back and say, you know, I know that we had a timetable for a month. This is going to take 3 months, and here's why. Because, and then you lay it out. Yeah, she delivers. Fine, 3 months. But if you do that up front, oh, I can't do it, I need more time, you've already stepped out the door on the wrong foot. My favorite is don't take yes for an answer. And it's not don't take yes. When people are going like this, don't think that they really mean this. It could be when you walk into a job, oh, we're so happy to have you. Oh my God, how we can get rid of it. You know, so don't take it. You're leading a project, so I'm leading this project. Everybody's not on board. I have to constantly be talking and doing some PR and doing a little influencing and understanding what the vibe is and what's wrong and why would somebody not be responding to 5 emails and 3 phone calls. Okay? So don't take yes for an answer. And then the one that I've added on is one that we've been talking about here, is building your strategic relationships. When people have a face to put together with something, they are much more likely to say, oh, I'm doing this for Joan here. I'm going to do this because she is sincere, she is authentic, she is she has integrity, she's always there. And you know, and then all the other stuff that you heard about, make sure that you're helpful, bring people along. If you're willing to do that extra, even though it's not your job, people remember that. They will come back to you, because by doing that, you may now develop a whole new skill set that you never knew that you had. Anyway, I will stop here because I don't know if I've gone over the 10 minutes. I could keep on going, but stop and open it up to anybody else.